Welcome back to the Cronkite Sports Report. Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park is a racing complex in Chandler that opened in 1983 and spans over 440 acres.
However, as Cronkite Sports reporter Michael Garaffa tells us, the legendary spot will be shutting down in 2023.
Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park has been hosting racing events since 1983. Spanning over 440 acres, the park houses a drag strip, a road course, and a 2.5-mile motorboat racing lake. It all started with a man named Charlie Allen.
Came over here, he built a drag strip, utilized the lake, put up a grandstand there, did boat drags, drag races.
While it has been the host of hundreds of motorsports events, that isn't all that Wild Horse Pass is good for.
There's been concerts here and everything from marathons to weddings to everything you can possibly think of that can be at an event venue.
For Chuck Sundstrom, Wild Horse Pass has been a centerpiece of his entire life.
I started out as a drag racer in the 80s and 90s and then started working here part-time. And then my kids raced juniors and my kids worked here when they were young. Now they've grown up and two of my sons are drifters. One's a drag racer, has 2 drag race cars.
Now, the iconic venue will be shutting down for good.
It's terrible. I really like this spot, especially they have the water, just all the views here and the spacing here. So it's a terrible thought that it's even shutting down.
For drivers and fans, Wild Horse Pass has been a meaningful part of their lives.
It's only you and that track out there, and you just get out there, you release that trans brake, and you're on it. So it's something that you can't explain, you just got to feel it.
For the community, this is a place for everybody to gather. I mean, right now there's tons and tons of people coming through the gates, the cars. It's going to really hurt the community, I believe.
Wild Horse Pass unveiled a master plan for a 3,300-acre commercial development in January of 2021. It initially seemed like the plan wouldn't impact the motorsports park for a few more years. However, in March of 2022, they unveiled a plan for a new highway extension that would use the space currently occupied by the track. Now, drivers will have to travel over 2 hours to get to the nearest track.
Most of the drifters need to have a car and trailer or a truck and trailer to go down there, because if you get in a wreck, it's going to be hard to drive your car back to Phoenix.
As for the drivers who can't travel long distances to race, they may be left with no safe options.
What happens is you wind up pushing these people onto the streets to do drag racing, which is a dangerous situation.
Direct correlation to accidents and people drifting on the street and crashing, and a lot more danger to public safety and to drivers.
It's a lot better when it can happen in an event like this where the track's prepped, there's safety crews, and there's rules that have to be followed, and you have to, actually your car has to pass the tech inspection, so it's better for drag racing.
Drift car driver Alex Anderson has a plea for those that are considering taking it to the streets.
I hope to be respectful about it, go to abandoned areas late at night, that sort of stuff, not the like takeover style. You know, definitely don't want to see any of that.
The future for drag racing in Phoenix remains largely unknown at the moment.
Drag racing is going away, and I think drag racing is still a big part of, and motorsports in general is a big part of life for millions and millions of people across the world. So I just hope that it still continues as long as it can here and everywhere else.
Drivers and fans are going to make the most of the last few events at Wild Horse Pass before the park closes down for good in the coming year. In Phoenix, Michael Garaffa, Cronkite Sports Report.